Hey, I'm Danielle Damrell, and welcome to the Created Worthy podcast. On this show, you can join me as I sit down with women from a variety of ages, backgrounds, and experiences. Together, we will learn and grow from sharing each of our stories and experiencing the life-changing power of connection. So, whether you're here because you're a boss babe running your own empire and are just looking for some unconventional advice, or because you feel totally alone and are looking for stories to relate to, this is the podcast for you. You are welcome here. I believe we are all inherently worthy, and through faith, creative processing, and real connections, we can all continue moving forward to be the joy-filled, triumphant women we are created to be. Hello! Today I am virtually sitting down with Kristen Day, a digital marketing and online business strategist specializing in design, social media strategy, and data analytics. Kristen works with and educates driven entrepreneurs to create a holistic, effective, and profitable process that they actually want to use with her clear as day digital system. Kristen, thank you so much for joining me on the Created Worthy podcast.
Hi, and thank you so much for having me. I cannot tell you how excited and just grateful I am to be here with you today.
Course. Oh my gosh, it's such an honor to have you. I would really love to start with just hearing a little bit about where you're from and your story that's brought you to where you are today.
Sure. So I am actually kind of from all over. I kind of claim the South as like home base, but I've lived in 13 different places and just kind of been a nomad, so to speak. And I currently live in Tucson, Arizona.
Awesome.
And
Super warm.
It's great. Yeah, I love it. But what brought me to where I am in my business really came from all of those moves, because it just allowed me to experience a lot of different things and learn so many different avenues of what I wanted to do. And all of those led me to here I am, where I am today. So
what caused you to make so many moves?
So weirdly, my family is in the grocery business, and that bumped us around a lot. And I went to college in 2 different places, and then my husband got a job that moved us every 8 months for a little while.
Okay. So that's what, lots of job moves.
Yes, lots of job
So did
moves.
you do that all throughout your childhood as well then? Just kind of moving around?
Moving around,
and restarting and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like those kinds of transitions and getting used to that, and even in your childhood, allowed you in a sense to have the confidence to, jump forward into owning your own business? Because that's a big transition, especially. Do you have a corporate background?
I have, kind of. I am quite young in my career. The bouncing around made that a little difficult, because every time I moved, I had to change jobs.
Right.
So I would say I have a small corporate background,
Me
but
too.
in a lot of different areas.
Yes.
Yeah. And I know you can definitely relate to that.
Definitely.
Big time. But yeah, I have a traditional background in advertising and digital media. I'm all self-taught. So that's one thing that
Another thing we have in common.
Yeah, exactly. Every job that I moved to, it required different skill sets, and there was really no on-the-job training. Like when I got the job, they just said, teach yourself this and then fulfill the duties of that.
Right.
Here's some training videos and good luck. Here's YouTube and off you go. So that was a lot of my experience. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do now, is because having to learn that stuff on your own is time consuming and challenging. And there's a lot of
ebbs
weird.
and flows and
Yeah.
all the things. So what about digital systems, creating digital systems was like so exciting to you? Like what drove you to make that into a career?
So I was working at an ad agency that I will not name.
Fair enough.
And I saw when we got a new client in, the ad agency would tell people, we're going to take care of your social media, we're going to build your websites, we're going to do all of these great things for your company, and purchasing that kind of maintenance with us is really going to make your business explode. And they would get really excited. The company would get really excited about it. And then it would come down to actually getting the service from that ad agency. And the way that the employees, including myself, treated those businesses was so unfair, because it really, the system, the digital service industry is kind of designed to keep businesses coming back to them for those services.
Right.
And
instead of enabling them to do it themselves.
Right. And so like the contracts that we would set up with these poor people, it was just designed to where like we held the key to that information. Like we held the source code for their websites, and if they wanted to leave that ad agency, like they couldn't get any of their data analytics, and their social media platforms had to start over, and they didn't know how to use them. And so it's kind of like being held hostage by these digital service industry providers. And that just really turned my stomach. I just saw it over and over and over again. And when I asked someone, like, why is it done this way? Just out of curiosity, like, why can't we teach them how to use their own stuff? Because as we all saw in the pandemic, sometimes you need to run your own stuff. Like you need to kind of scale back, and you need to really have that empowerment in your business to do that for yourself. And they were like, well, that's how the business makes money. That's how we are profitable. And I was like, that is a terrible answer.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So that's really what drove me to the digital systems building, is the way that I design them is in such a way that someone who has never built a website, never used social media, or read a data analytics report, you as a business owner, even if eventually you do want to hire that service out to be maintained for you, you should still understand the basic principles of what those things do and how to use them. And that's what my company does. It builds that system for businesses in such a way that someone who would, describe themselves as non-techie, you can do it too. Everyone can do it. It's the build is kind of the hard part, but the maintenance really, if it's built comfortably and kindly for you, it's not hard to maintain. Anyone can do it.
Right. And I think that's where so many business owners, including myself in the past and sometimes currently, get lost in the like, oh my gosh, I have to update my website, or I have, just all of these different things that you're supposed to do as a business owner, but it can be so overwhelming, especially when you're not in the digital world at all. And maybe you're a network marketer, or maybe you're a coach of some sort, or a creative like I am. That can just be a super, super overwhelming part of the business, which is one of the reasons I'm really excited to have you on today, because I just know there are so many people out there, especially people who maybe haven't started their business yet or are thinking about starting it, that are just so overwhelmed by the amount of systems that need to be created. And for me, I kind of felt blindsided by it. I was like, oh my gosh, there is no way for any part of my business to run efficiently without a system. And for you to be like, digital systems expert, it's like, my gosh, that is like such a huge need in the entrepreneurial space. So I just think it's so cool that that's like what you help businesses and business owners to learn and be able to maintain. Because like you said, that's like can be so overwhelming and be something that people are just like, I'm not techie. I can't do this, but they can do it. And you teach them how.
Yeah, anyone can do it. And that's what I love the digital space, but I do understand, because I had to learn all those different facets of it myself. If you are left to your own devices and you don't have a guide, yes, that is horrible and it's scary. It can be really overwhelming, because it's like having a pile of crap in front of you, and you're like having to like dig out what you need, and there's so many options, and you're kind of just pulling your hair out over it. And so I think it's important, for two reasons, because as the business owner, if you don't know what you don't know, it's so easy to make big mistakes. Mm-hmm. And in the digital space, especially, digital space is an investment, right? It's an investment in your time. It's an investment of funds. It's an investment of just energy. Mm-hmm. And when you don't understand what it is you're dealing with, it's so easy to make mistakes. And that's when people hate the digital space. Mm-hmm. And I love the digital space. I want people to love it as much as I do, but I really understand that the way that you come to love it is by understanding it.
Right. And it's not something that's easily taught. Like you said, working for an ad agency, you saw that firsthand. You saw how people or companies can be like, I can do this service for you. I'll do this service for you, not with you.
Not with you.
And yes, and that in the long run can actually be so detrimental, because you're going to need to maintain. And let's be honest, it's not cheap to hire an ad agency to be in charge of all of that. It's a big financial investment. And sometimes I don't know, maybe this is being too honest, but a lot of times the amount of time that they're actually spending on one specific business is not that much.
No.
Yeah. It's like, you really can do this yourself. Like maybe you invest in someone, a program like yours so that you really learn how to do it, but then you're doing it just as well or even better because you're the one who knows your brand the best.
Exactly.
How to do it. And it's not going to take you very much time. So you're saving people so much chaos and heartache and all of the things.
Well, and the thing about systems is ideally you want to build them in such a way that it's simple.
Yes.
It's not overwhelming. And because there's so many options and because we are just inundated with digital everything all the time. Mm-hmm. Social media, websites, gotta post, gotta put the story on, gotta do the LinkedIn, whatever it is, we just feel the pressure as business owners to just constantly be online. Mm-hmm. And what people don't realize is that if you have a system that is running smoothly.
Yeah. Integration wise
planning. There's so much that goes into a system for a business in the digital space. You can, if you do it correctly, minimize the time that you're actually spending on those platforms and on your screen, just typing away and making posts, because that's where that overwhelm comes from, is the amount of time that people feel like they have to spend. And that system helps you reduce that time hugely because you're planning and you're making it run for you. Your digital space is running for you instead of running over you. That's what I like to say.
And one thing that I just thought of is even when you do work with a company or something, they still require you to provide the content and do the planning, which I learned the hard way. I hired someone through Fiverr to do a website for me last year. And I spent so much time just going back and forth with him and being like, this doesn't work. This isn't working. That I actually accidentally learned the system better than he did. And so I was able to just do it really quickly, and I had to pay him anyway because I had signed that contract. So all of those like, little but really big mistakes for a small business, especially when there's that financial investment involved. It's like, gosh, and you don't know until you know, right?
Right.
And you don't know, especially when you're like, okay, I'm going to hire this one person for my website design. You're like, okay, all I'm going to do is tell them that I'm a creative. I like pink. I am a happy person. And here's some photos. That's not how it works.
But you would be, I mean, so many people think that is how it works.
Right.
Like, because that's all they see. And
Right.
and so it's so important to just help people understand, like, just give them the answer. It's okay.
Right.
Nothing's going to happen to you. You're not going to get lit on fire if you just tell them the truth.
Yes, exactly.
Hi, I'm Ella. Please listen to our word from our sponsor.
Hi, this is Danielle Damrell, and I am the founder and artist behind Danielle Damrell Creative Collective. Over the last 3.5 years, I've been compiling resources, and I'm excited to have finally created a platform where you can easily find them. DDCC is a continuously expanding collection of creative products, blogs, graphics, and custom pieces that aim to spread love, truth, and vulnerable encouragement. Head over to my website, damrellcreativeco.com, to find all kinds of resources, from playlists to help you with intentional creative processing to Amazon recommendations for all types of crafty things. I've got you covered. Oh, and make sure to check out the Worthy Collection, my most recent collection for obvious reasons, where you can find hand-drawn stickers and prints. This collection consists of truths and revelations that I've experienced over the last year. Make sure to check out the product descriptions on my website to read the stories behind each of the designs. So again, that's Damrell, DAMRELL, creativeco.com. I am honored to be the sole sponsor of this show right now. But if you'd like to partner with me, purchasing from the Worthy Collection is an incredible way to do so.
Hey, didn't you set up a Patreon too?
Oh, yeah. You can find me over on Patreon now too. Okay, back to the story. So at what point did you decide to start this business? How long has it been?
My business will be 3 years old in October.
Wow. That's a big accomplishment, especially like considering COVID,
COVID was interesting.
Right.
It was a blessing in disguise. I won't say that I did a lot of business during COVID, but I did have the space that I needed to get my own business organized, which was a very unique opportunity and something that I feel like most people maybe understood. I didn't understand it at the time.
No, it's definitely a hindsight thing, but I feel the same way. I'm like, man, last year I didn't I made masks. So I did have a lot of business and I was super busy, but there was a time during the pandemic that I was like, oh my gosh, like I have space to figure out like what I actually want to do. And that was a huge blessing from COVID, as terrible as that might sound.
Absolutely. No, and I 100% respect the severity of COVID, but I do think so many people got the opportunity to think about what they wanted to give to the world that they had to offer. And now we're seeing that this year, especially, I think I've seen it way more. And as we kind of go into the end of the year, lots of people are really taking advantage of that opportunity to blossom into what they found in themselves during COVID. So. For
sure. And that's such a cool gift that has come out of, such a hard situation. But another thing, just side note about COVID is like, whether you lost family members or not, like that was something that the world as a whole has gone through together. And so I feel like a lot of people have become more culturally aware of how we are all human and we can connect on that level. And having a small business is a really awesome way of being able to build connections and share the messages that are on your heart, or, you know, the services that you've always wanted to do, but you know can serve someone. So yeah, another little, what is it called? Like a light at the, not the light at the
Like
end
a
of the
silver lining.
silver lining. There we go. Oh my gosh. So aside from your business, what do you like to do?
My husband would say I'm a workaholic.
So would mine.
I love plants.
Oh, you have a green thumb, don't you?
I'm
so jealous.
I do. I have more plants than my house can hold.
I don't think there's ever enough plants. I'm like really, really wanting to get into plants right now, and I've always had a black thumb. Like literally everything I just look at dies. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna say I have a green thumb. I'm gonna shift my mindset.
Yes.
I'm gonna figure it out, and I will Google it.
Yes.
But that's so cool. So you love taking care of your plant babies.
I do. When I'm super stressed, one of the things that I will do, I love to put together like planters, succulent planters.
Yeah.
And I will like either rearrange mine, I'll like dump them out of their pot and rearrange them, or I'll go to the store and just get little baby ones and put them together.
Right.
So that's really a big stress reliever for me. And then I love travel, which is interesting the last couple of months. But and I love food. I'm a big foodie.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. I feel you on a soul level.
Yes, I just like food. We live in a city of gastronomy.
Awesome. I did not know that about Tucson.
Yeah.
How cool.
We're having restaurant week next week, actually. So it'll be the third weekend in September. And
yes.
That's going to be
so
great.
Yes.
Can't wait.
So I was actually going to ask you, looking back, where do you feel like you've seen threads of creative processing come up throughout your life? You shared a little bit about your succulents, rearranging those. But yeah, especially during like challenging times, what are things like even in your childhood that you've like ran to that have engaged that creative part of your soul?
So music.
Ooh.
Yeah, I am. A weird fact about me is I can play 5 different instruments.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That is so awesome. Which
band? I can play piano, trumpet, tuba. I marched tuba in high school, yeah. And then a little bit of guitar and clarinet.
That is so cool. I've always wanted to learn how to play guitar and piano. I tried piano, but my short-term memory problem really didn't serve me well with that. But that is so cool. So do you still play anything?
I don't play anything now. There are no instruments in the house, but I love going to concerts. And one of the kind of things that we treated ourselves with during COVID was a big Sonos for our living room. It's like a speaker. And
cool.
So we just love to play music. That's really like when I need to focus, or when I just really need to get into something.
Yeah.
Different types of music will trigger different types of things. And
oh my gosh,
I love that about music. It's just like, it's so inspiring or calming, or music is there for you no matter what you need. And
right.
So
and there's something for every stage of life or anything you could ever possibly go through.
Yeah.
I actually have like on my website, on my resources page, I've got all my Spotify playlists for different things like processing falling in love, or processing heartbreak or loss or depression, like literally almost any emotion you could ever possibly have, because music is just such a huge part of healing for me. And yeah, so that's really cool to hear that that's like an outlet for you.
Yeah. And then I love just being, I know it sounds a little corny, but I love being with people. Like, I feel like different people affect my ability to create in different ways. And so, for example, if I am in a bad mood, I can call specific people.
Yep.
And I know which ones to call too. It's like, okay, I feel this way, I need to call this person, or I'm a little unmotivated, so I need to like get on a training with this person, or something like that. And I don't know if it's like it's their voice that does it, or if it's just like why
the connection.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely, that's one that's a little odd to like think about, but I do feel like
I think that's absolutely a creative processing outlet, because I have seen that benefit in my own life too. There have been many days, especially in recent days, like where we're just going through, lots of valleys.
Yeah.
And I have this like very distinct group of friends, like specific group that we have a Facebook Messenger group just like there. And I just call, and whoever answers, I'm like, this is what I need at this moment, because I am losing it. Just sitting on the phone is like, okay, I'm okay. I'm human. It's that reminder. It's still engaging that processing part of your brain, but it's almost a tool for, at least I found it to be a tool that can kind of immediately like reframe whatever situation, or get you to shift your mindset, because you're like, I no longer need to be stuck in this alone.
Yes. And I love that. Like for me, being a part of a group, or like connecting with someone who is really important to me, that really, it's very fast too. Like, and it really can, it's almost, I wouldn't say instant, but like within 5 minutes, you can actually like physically notice a difference.
Right.
And that's so cool, because it's so important to know as an entrepreneur, like you're going to get stuck.
And even just as a human being, but entrepreneurs, especially those of us who are like chronic workers.
You're gonna get hung up somewhere. You need to understand, you need to like accept that about just yourself, and that it's normal, but understand like what is it that helps you move on or move forward.
So that actually brings me to another question. How do you see yourself continuing to use your creative giftings to uplift and encourage those around you, whether it's your clients or your friends or your family?
So I would love, with it's funny, my planters. So one of the things that I do to celebrate my business is to create these planters. So my husband actually got me a book of plant recipes.
How cute.
Yes, he is the best. And he got me a book of plant recipes, but I have too many plants. I don't need more of them. And so to celebrate my business, I will take the time and I'll actually like make a planter for my friends or for my clients. And it's like really embodying that celebration of, this is something you get to do. It's something you're grateful for. It's something you love to do. And you get to, make
bless
these
other
gifts. And so that's one way definitely I like to try as best I can. And then as far as like music goes, I love to share music. It's something that as simple as having people over and you've got it on in the background, or, it's like setting the mood, or just doing things that lift you and other people up at the same time is incredible. And music is just such a great way to do that, like sharing a concert, or just anything you can do to inject that into your life. Yes. Road trips are the best, right?
Yes. I love road trips. Oh my gosh. We pull out all the Michael Jackson on road trips, and all all the Aretha Franklin.
Yes. Oh, so good.
Oh my gosh. Well, I do have to say, another thing that I see in you as a way that you're using your creative gifting is by doing your business. Like, you're creating these processes, and for people like me who've really struggled with creating processes in general, or just structure, I feel like there's a big chunk of people who probably have an aversion to structure just because it feels so uncomfortable. You're using your creative giftings to serve them and to, love them and to help them. And that's like such a beautiful gift. So
Aw,
thank you from
thank
all of us who
you.
struggle with these systems. You are like just such a huge blessing, and what you're doing is really changing lives and making an impact in the long run too, not
Thank
just in
you.
these short-term ways. So really, really awesome.
I just want people to, like I said, I just want people to know that like you can do this. Like the online space is such a, I hate to say this, but I feel it's true. Like I feel in my heart that it's true. The online space is mandatory now. It's not negotiable. You don't have to be super active on it. You don't have to be, posting 12 times a day in order for it to make you feel validated. But you do, as a business owner, your customers, to be in front of customers, and they expect that. It's just it's the new normal, right? For owning a business. And I want people to know it's not a dangerous space. It's not a scary space. It's something that can fit inside of what you love to do and make it even bigger, make it even more powerful. Like really use it to your advantage.
Yeah. Yes. No, that's such an important thing to bring up because, I think of my dad, who has been in business for like 30 years as a painter in Boise, Idaho. And he still to this day, like, can't use a cell phone. Can't type. He will not check his own email. It's crazy. He's like the definition of being not a tech person. But he has had no option but to have somebody create a website for him. And it just causes him stress because he won't learn how to do it. And have a Facebook page, which I created for him. But just having those platforms for people to go to and even just look up your phone number or your email, like it's essential. It's so essential. And that he's just runs a small business in, Boise, Idaho. So I know almost everybody who owns a business has to show up in one way or another in this digital space, like you were saying.
A note about social media. So like, I feel like social media is such a controversial topic. And I think one thing that I have noticed about the use of social media when it comes to businesses specifically, I won't get into like the personal side of it, but for businesses, I think people are intimidated by social media because they think that, well, if I get on social media, I'll have to deal with the crazies, or it'll be detrimental for my business, or it'll be a time suck, or, there's just all these things that I hear people say. And I want people's relationship. First off, we should educate people about social media.
Right. Like as a tool in business, it should be something that business owners know about.
Yes. And educating them in the way that really is positive and shows the positivity of that tool is important, because when you kind of shift that mindset, it's all about your mindset, right? When you shift that mindset between social media being something that's detrimental to something that's empowering, I think we can help people understand that they can use social media in a positive way, because we see social media as a negative entity. We see it as like, okay, if you feel like it's negative, you can use it for good. Like, use it for good. And then the second thing about social media is someone out there is looking for what you have to offer. They're searching for it. They need it that day. And so if you're like hemming and hawing over, do I post? Do I not post? Is this worth it? Do I show up? It doesn't matter if it's today or 12 weeks from now or a year from now. Somebody's going to see it and they're going to need it. And they're going to, like, that thing that you put out into the world is valuable. It definitely has its drawbacks. So I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I think that educating people more about how it can be used positively is something we don't focus on enough. It gets eaten up in the scary. So
For sure. I would love for you to just share with the listeners where they can connect with you or how they could get in touch and work with you potentially.
yeah, so I have an Instagram page. It's called at the home grind.
Yes.
So I love coffee. That's where that comes from. So at the home grind or affinitybyday.com, and just connect with me. I can shoot you over my email or anything like
I'll
that.
add all of these to the show notes so you can go straight to them and connect with her. I'm sure you take Instagram messages too, right?
Oh,
I think
yeah.
We've done a lot of that.
Yeah, I'd love for people to come like hang out with me on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn too, just all the different platforms,
all the places.
Yeah, I like my Instagram. I like to do like techie topics and like just tips and tricks and things like that. So that's why I tell people to go there, because it's like there's just a ton of information, like free tools and all the things.
Systems queen right here.
Yeah.
And she's got the resources for you. So definitely head over to her Instagram. She's amazing. One of my favorite people to follow. And I'm just so glad that the Pitch Club has brought us together and allowed us to have this connection and time to share about your message and to be on the podcast.
Yeah, I really appreciate the time, and that's like a whole nother episode. That's been such an incredible experience.
Oh, yes. Well, you can come back anytime.
Oh, I would love
We'll
that.
do a part 2 someday. Thank you again, Kristen, and I just hope you have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Created Worthy podcast. If you want to connect more, you can follow along with me over at Danielle Damrell or Damrell Creative Co. on Instagram and Facebook. If you would like to help build a community, you can join the Created Worthy Community Facebook group, a no judgment zone and a place where you can come as you are and be inspired by other women who maybe have a creative processing idea or might even have a dilemma in life that they just want to share about and would like some honest advice. Side note, I am looking for a few honest souls and people who feel called to lead in a small capacity right now to be the admins of this group. I will show up as much as possible, but I would love to build the foundation of this group with a few other women who have the passion to love and provide a safe space for others. If this is you, email me. My email is in the show notes. Last, but certainly not least, if you learned something or gained value from this episode at all, share the love and send it to a friend or post a screenshot. If you post it on social media, be sure to tag me, although I am on a social media break right now, so I probably won't share it. But still, share the word. It means a lot. And please, take 5 seconds, scroll down on your phone, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. It really does matter. When you subscribe, rate, and review, you make it possible for other people similar to you to see my show. And that's so helpful. So please do it. 5 stars. 5 stars only. If you didn't like it, just don't listen again. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.